Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. My word, doesn't it just look like January outside? It looks incredibly beautiful. Nice and cold this morning. We're starting things off at 17 degrees. This is the last of our cold weather for a little bit of a spell. Today, temperature's going up. We're getting into the mid 30s, and actually high 30s. And then we're getting into the low 40s, and then getting all the way up into the 50s as the time moves forward. That doesn't necessarily mean good things. Down here, our floor, we have dug down. So we are on a clay soil here. Thankfully, we have put in a drainage system, so we don't have to worry too much about that. But the rain that falls in the barn, well, the mud's very sticky because it's clay. Not a problem once there's a roof on the building, but working in here after the ground has just thawed and we're getting a lot of rain, not gonna be fun working down here. So we're taking advantage of the frozen ground. Yeah, it brings cold weather with it, but at least I can walk around and I'm not getting stuck every time I try to walk a foot. Here we have all of our gussets. Last night it got pretty cold, look at this. It didn't snow or anything, that's just the dew freezing. So today our plan is getting all of these gussets trimmed and cut into their forms, their final forms. Here's our template. We have a lot of work to do. Let's get started. So that's about as long as it's gonna be. Not too bad. We could start with the diagonals and then kind of move it back a little bit. You're gonna fire up on the first pull. That was a bad pull. Can't really fault them for that. Corner gusset. We have our first gusset. Oh, it's existing. Man, that's exciting. Honestly, it's just a little baby one that's next to it. That's left. Hopefully this can be 25 degrees as well. Right now I'm just making them all so I have them, and then we'll get started cutting one specific type. So we've got the right corner, now I gotta make the left corner. Left corner. Oh, it's literally like a fraction off. If I can use that, that'll save us some plywood. Okay, almost got them all. Diagonal. Sweet! Yeah! Now that we got all our gussets now cut, we're ready to build trusses. No, I kid. But now I can use these to draw on all of our slivers. So take all these and process these into actual gussets, and then we'll load them all up on the wagon under the tarp. It'll probably take us the better part of today to do all the cutting here for today. I'm excited. This is an exciting part of the build. We've moved on from one thing to the next. Yeah! We have a couple pieces of scrap plywood down here that really wasn't going into anything, so we're gonna cut those into some extra gussets first, and then we'll get started on our main sheets that we have split ready for. I'm gonna use the circular saw on those just because of how tiny they are. Well, battery operated cordless saw made short work of that. And this is about what we got. Got a few tops, got one diagonal, a bunch of centers, and even some high centers, which is pretty good. So I'm just gonna take this opportunity to go over the numbers with you guys. This is how many we need of each one. We'll need 102 high centers, 102 centers, 102 left corners, 102 right corners, 204 tops, and 204 diagonals. So it's a little bit to get us started. I'm fully confident though, by the end of today, we should have everything that we need cut. I'm hopeful that we even have some extras. That would be nice. All right, so based on my measurements here, we can cut 7 pieces of plywood at once. We're gonna test that out. With our circular saw, we were doing 4. So with the miter saw, we can do 7. That's pretty awesome. That, you can imagine how much quicker that moves things along. Of course, I gotta make sure our I give them a little tap with the hammer, but I'll do that once we're ready to cut. Now we're gonna take our little diagonal board, and then it's as easy as lining the board up on our edges and drawing a line. And take that, go to the next edge, line it up with that edge, drawing a line. And then once I have room to work on this table, I'll be able to do this a little differently. Okay, there's our lines. Flush on the corners. Here we go. Woo! Look at that. Epic. Oh, that came out great. Now that's production. Now for the fun part, every single one has to be labeled. I'll be thanking myself later for this part. If I didn't do this, I would have so many problems trying to figure out which one's which. Just saves time, you know, in the long run when you're assembling. I'm really excited for assembling the trusses because I'm hoping it's basically like you're just assembling a giant Lego set. And there's 4 of these that are going on per truss, 2 on each side. So that puts us up to 58 out of 204. Not a bad start. You can even see what I'm doing. I need to take out hay for the horses today. While I'm down here with my tractor, I'll hook up to that wagon and bring it in here, and I would like to stack all of those on that. That way these are out of the way. I'm gonna need, and I don't know how I'm gonna figure this one out, both of these wagons completely clear for when I'm assembling the trusses. And that wagon is filled from side to side, front to back with truss boards. I have them set so that I can scoop them off with the tractor using the pallet forks. So I'm probably going to do that by getting them off and then set them down gentle like that so I can put them back on if we're not able to finish. With the weather moving in, I don't know exactly what we're gonna be able to get done next week. So what's nice though is we have thought ahead and put everything on wagons. Everything's movable. So we're not opposed to taking all of the boards from the build site, building them somewhere where it doesn't matter if it's raining or if it's muddy because we're on concrete, and then bringing the completed trusses back. We might do that. Obviously, I would prefer building them here. Takes the logistic challenge of moving all of them out, but it is what it is. You gotta work with whatever weather you got. And then I'll write the number on the top one so that I know what I'm at. My marker's about dead there. So right now we're at 58. Fast forward a few hours, we have arrived at noon. Mom is here. She's down here helping out. She's labeling all of them for me, putting a nice C on them and counting. And these are all of the gussets that we have made so far. This is our diagonal pile, high center, and center that she's labeling the last of right now. So we have all of those finished. What we have left to do is our left and right corners and our tops. She's got this down to a science. But things are going along very smoothly, very smoothly. I'm very happy with our progress. So I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be able to get all of our gussets made today. Meaning the only materials we'll need are those 10 2x4x16s to do the last 5 trusses. But that doesn't mean we can't get started doing trusses sooner than that, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and fast forward on up to see what's for lunch. And then Mom's gonna be heading on home and she'll be back feeding horses this afternoon. But I appreciate you coming down and helping us, Mom. Our tractor is now here and ready for me when I'm done making all those gussets. I can take hay out. And I'm also gonna use the tractor to move that wagon in here so I don't have to go as far to load all the gussets into it. So on the way here, the ground is already thawing out. I started getting mud flinging up on the tires. So I was like, oh dear. So this is definitely gonna be the last day that we have to work here down at the hay barn in peaceful, nice conditions. They're calling for 3 inches of rain over the weekend. You know, I'm not really excited about that. To be really honest with you, I'm not. We got power? We got power. That little generator, unsung hero. Next one we're working on is going to be left corner. Now you're just seeing how I get my bearings. And that right there, guys, I want to show you a mistake that I made. Making the left and the right sides, I cut these slivers to the exact width that I need for the left and the right. But the problem is, they go together obviously quite beautifully. So if I had cut the slivers in this exact width going across, one cut would have given me 2 pieces per sheet of plywood. But now I have a whole section that I'm wasting on each cut. It's not a bad thing, obviously, but it does mean that there's more waste, and that does mean that I did waste a little bit of plywood on that, which that's a little frustrating, but good to know for next time. It's my first time ever building trusses. I was trying to think of everything as much as I could ahead of time, but I knew there was going to be something that I missed. But as for mistakes go, not the end of the world, but could have been better. That means that I can cut the 7s. I'm putting in the hearing protection. Serenity. Can't even hear the generator running. When the saw goes on, I can hear the saw, but it's like really mumbled, really quiet. Things are going quite smoothly. We have our left corners fully cut and ready to go. All we have left to do is our tops and our right corners. Although I am running out of time, we are going to continue to work on those. But that being said, we have our trailer here. Now this is set up so we can load all of the gussets right on in here. It is going to be starting to rain tonight, so we have to make sure that everything is fully tarped and put away before we have any problems with wood, well, giving us some issues. So we don't want any warping or anything like that happening. And unless the weather pattern changes, we are actually planning on building the trusses no longer down here. All that rain coming, we think what we're going to do is fasten down all the lumber, as it already is nice and tidy in this wagon, and it's all nice and tidy on that wagon. The only thing that's on this that can't go is the door. Everything else is pretty much ready to go. We can hook all this up, take it up to the horse stable, and then the main parking lot of the horse stable, we can assemble the trusses up there. No matter how much rain we get, that's all concrete, so we can completely assemble all of the trusses up there, then load them on the wagon and take them down here fully completed. We'll play it by ear, and we'll see how things go. As for now, I'm going to load up what we have cut already, because once the horses get all brought in for afternoon feeding, I'm going to take hay out, and then we'll continue cutting until we are fully done with today. I just can't believe that we have all these gussets cut. This is insane. It's one of those moments, out of sight, out of mind. You just forget how much lumber that we have all ready to go. You can feel it too. The air's getting moist, but it's also warmer. It's kind of weird. I don't know how to describe it, other than how I just did, I guess. Well, there we go. That's about as full as we've got it now. And I still have all the tops and all of the right corners to put on, which I can fill this little area in here. And then I think I'm just gonna start putting it on top since everything's labeled. It's kind of exciting to see the work that we've been putting in over the past 3 weeks. Insane. Well, this looks a little chaotic over here. Very happy with this. This thing is loaded to the gills with lumber, all for trusses. These, of course, are the uncut right corners, which does sadly mean we were not able to get those cut for today. It is what it is. I still have to load up those high tops over there, but we can take this trailer over to make that a little easier. All the horses are in, so we need to get moving, get this covered, and get hay put out for the horses. Well, you guys pretty much spent the entire day with me down here at the hay barn. Mind you, this is an absolutely incredible build that we are doing as a family. And though we always have projects going on, I don't think we'll have something this big going on for a long time. So enjoy it while it's here. I know I am. Well, fast forward some time, we ended up, my wife and I, spending some time with Andrew and Lauren and the kiddos, which is basically a weekly thing that you guys see us doing all the time. It was a good night. It is 11 p.m. and I had to take my tractor home because I'm going to be doing a bunch of maintenance on everything. So we'll see how much we're able to do, but the goal is I got to change the oil filter, air filter, and cabin filter on this truck. I got to change the oil filter, hydraulic filter, and 2 fuel filters on my tractor. I'm also going to change the seat on the tractor, and my lights are no longer working again on the tractor, so we got to do that. So big maintenance day tomorrow. I won't be filming any of that content. I know you guys aren't the biggest fans of maintenance work here on the channel, so I completely understand that. Not to mention, we've got plenty of content coming in from everywhere else, so it's not like you guys are missing out on anything. That being said, I will happily update you for those that are curious in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's exciting to see what's going to be happening next on the hay barn, especially considering that I really don't know what's going to be happening next. It's all up to the weather, which is usually how things go in this time of year. I appreciate you guys immensely. If you haven't, please remember to hit that like button, consider subscribing, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.